Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the T&G Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to stand out from the crowd. Now, as always, there's 1,001 ways to do it, but this is my way, and I want to make sure that you guys are actually taking this and actually implementing this information, even more importantly, but doing it in a way that actually sits congruently to you, your beliefs, and your standards. And more specifically, in a way that allows you to stand out in a way without losing yourself in the process, because that's super key. It's very easy to follow, and people do follow and actually start taking or modeling in a different kind of a way other people who are out there doing their thing and obviously getting the results as well, but forgetting that, you know what, that works for them for a reason. So now, yes, understand what they've done, but now apply it to yourself. That suits your beliefs, that suits your values, and that suits what it is that you're striving for. That's the difference that people forget to actually change up when they start modeling people. So folks, before you get stuck into this video, please make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel, because not only do I talk about these kind of things, I talk about branding, but I specifically talk about why representation matters, and more importantly as well, I talk about that you are more than what you see and explain the reasons behind that, all by way of divulging all this information about branding. Branding helps me to help you to be able to do that. And when you get to understand the reasons why not only representation matters, but equally that you are more than what you see, you start delivering your products, your services in a hell of a lot more of a different kind of a way, but more specifically in a way that actually sits congruent to you, your standards, and your belief. And as I said before, all in a way that allows you to not lose yourself in the process. So that being said, folks, before we get stuck into this, make sure you go ahead and stick around to the very end of this video, because there's some key principles that will help you to understand exactly how to just stand out and show up in a way that allows you to resonate with you, resonate with your values, but even more importantly, build those better connections with your audience that you're trying to reach out to. So without further ado, folks, let's get stuck into this. So, okay, we're going to be talking about how to stand out from the crowd. Now, I want to touch base on this topic because, yes, it's slightly different to what I've been covering beforehand. However, it all goes hand in hand and links in many, many different kinds of ways. But I want to touch base on this particular thing because it's very easy to go off and running and doing your own thing, which is cool. And because sometimes, you know what, that's how we learn. That's how we make the mistakes, or that's how we just go for it and understand what actually does work. Sometimes it works, right? But I want to help you now by literally just sharing with you some key points that will help you to stand out in the crowd. And especially when you have a super crowded market. Branding is a super crowded market. The beauty business is a super crowded market. The health and well-being space, oh my goodness, can you breathe in there? That's how crowded the market is. But there are many ways to be able to stand out, no matter how crowded your market is, or industry, however you want to reference it as. There are many ways to stand out. And yes, although people are doing something similar to you, they are not you. That's the unique essence, or that's the unique part about it. You can still stand out, do the same thing as somebody else, but stand out as you, because you have a different approach towards it. And that's how you start standing out in a crowd. Now, when the minute that you start recognizing that is the minute you start asking yourself different questions. Something like, okay, so I know how I help people, but what does that even look like? What is the USP? But I like to call it, what is your unique human point? What is the essence, or what is that real thing or the real reason, in fact, why I do actually help these people? And to be able to establish all those answers for yourself, you need to tap into the VPV, the brand power of three, as I like to coin it. Those three things, that brand power of three, will help you to show up and stand out in crowded markets. Like, especially when have you ever been to a networking event and looked around you and thought, oh my gosh, who else here is doing the same thing as me, right? Who else here, what is this booth doing next to me? You know, I'm pretty sure they're doing the same thing, but the unique part is, when you understand what your brand power of three is, you know how you actually help them. And yes, it will be different to that person, because the world is huge, folks. And yes, there is enough room at the table for everybody. The difference is, though, is how you actually help that person. The difference is how you can actually stand out from the crowd is by tapping into your brand power of 3. Your vision, your purpose, and your values. And remember, folks, I will always tell you to lead with your values, because your values will help you to understand the decisions you actually need to make in order to be able to show up in different spaces, in order to be able to show up specifically in a crowded market. Your values, when you lead with them, will help you to understand the type of audience you should be connecting with, will help you to understand the type of collaborations you should be making, and will help you to understand that, you know what, your competition doesn't actually have to be a bad thing. Your competition could eventually turn into your collaborator. So it's understanding that if your value is a growth mindset, that's where that would come into play. If your value is all about feeling loved, well, then you know the type of people that you actually want to be helping, because you want them to feel loved. If your value is all about freedom of space or peace of mind, well, then you know that the spaces or the networking events that you're actually showing up in will literally divulge, or that type of information will maybe be in health and well-being spaces. Or maybe they will start resonating with the idea of what you want your audience to also feel after having worked with you. When you save them time, when you save them the free space to just think. There's a hell of a lot more that you're actually doing as a business owner, and there's a hell of a lot more that you're actually doing even as a personal brand, but it all depends on how you're wanting to show up in the first place. So understand what your VPV is, understand your brand power 3, understand what it is that you're really doing with the people that you are helping, and then you understand how to show up in a crowd. So there we go, folks. I'm going to leave it there. If, for example, you felt that, you know what, Tan, I still have more questions, well, please go ahead and just comment below. And I'm there to be able to answer your questions, to be able to help you even further. And on that note, there's some key principles that I really need you to be able to just tap into, because they're going to help you even further. They're going to make sure that they are not only supercharge your own business, supercharge your own brand, more specifically, they're going to make sure that you're actually showing up in those crowded markets in a way that sits congruent to your standards and your beliefs without having to lose yourself in the process. Click on the link that's in the description box below, tap in a few details, and I'm going to fire over to you some really key principles that will get you started today. Not tomorrow, but today. You can start thinking about them. You can start actioning them today. And if you know me, folks, you know I'm all about the action taking, because it's all very well and good giving you this information, but it doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't actually do something with it. So I'd love for you to do something with it and just take it that one next step further for yourself. So folks, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe to this channel as always, and I will see you on the other side.